Happy Friday, my people, and welcome to Stoniecast number 89 and Season 3, Episode 22 of Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. It's your boy Stony back for the 89th time, and I'd like to welcome all of my fellow cheats, lowlifes, hustlers, hoodlums, scumbags, altar boys with unhealthy relationships with their priests, foul-mouthed raging alcoholics with abusive language, fienders, degenerates, and Italians. I mean, come on, let's face it. If you're Italian, you probably check all those boxes. If you're new to the show, hey, you probably fit into one or more of those categories, so welcome. And make sure to hit the subscribe button down here in the lower right-hand corner so you can be notified every time I put out a new video. Usually on Friday evening, right around this time, unless I tell you otherwise. Now, to spread the word, it's very easy. Just tell the other hoodlums to go to YouTube and enter hashtag STONIE'S winners. All one word. That's not STONEY, but it's STONIES winners. STONIE'S winners. That'll take you right to my page. So before we get to the get down, here's a couple of thoughts. This is a very interesting time of year. For those of you NBA and NHL heads, you're reaching the midway point of your season, and good luck to you. But I don't talk about those here. The NFL is reaching its climax, and NCAA hoops are basically in the seventh inning stretch with 6 weeks until championship week. My focus today is on the NFL, and while we look at the two conferences, there's an interesting dichotomy. The 4 AFC teams remaining: Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Jacksonville. They're all led by young, very talented quarterbacks. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence. While Jayville is the clear long shot, the fact that Buffalo, Kansas City, and Cincinnati are all still alive is certainly no accident. And it has turned out exactly how the NFL could script it, if they were scripting these things. In the NFC, it's the same in a sense that 4 of the biggest cities in the NFC are all alive with huge fan bases in Philadelphia, New York, San Francisco, and Dallas. Though the quarterbacks are all different stories. Jalen Hurts has turned into a superstar and was the odds-on favorite for league MVP before his injury last month. Daniel Jones is as perplexing of a quarterback that you'll find. For everyone that loves him, there's more that don't trust him. Dak Prescott has had big years in Dallas and has put up big numbers, and that doesn't even count his big paycheck. But he always falls short in January. And Brock Purdy's Mr. Irrelevant story is straight out of a freaking Hollywood movie. Fox, the NFC's television partner, is drooling with these 4 major media markets. And CBS, the AFC's partner, is just as excited with the 4 stud young quarterbacks. So enjoy your NFL weekend, people, because after Sunday, there's only 3 games left in the season. 2 championship games and the Super Bowl. As for our picks last week, we turned in another solid winning week. What are you going to do? That's 10 straight winning weeks that I'm putting money in your pocket. While I struggled off the bat in the NFL going 1-3 on Saturday, I got better each day, culminating with a double winner on Monday night with Dallas and the under. College hoops, what can I say? I've become college hoops daddy, right? Another top-notch 16-9 day, which was 8-8 at one point before I ripped off an 8-1 run. That solidified another winning week for the books. Here are the numbers. Last week, NCAA basketball 16-9. That puts us 166 wins, 99 losses, 5 ties. Good for 62.64% just in college hoops. I mean, come on, 62%? That's higher than I was in college football, which was 62.5%. NFL playoffs, we went 6-6. Can't really complain. That's kind of what we've been all year. You know, we've been hitting at a 55.55 regular season percentage. We hit 50% last week, but that ain't bad considering we started 1-3. So overall last week we went 22-15, another 59.46% week, adding to your bankrolls. Overall, every pick I've given you in all the episodes this year, 486 wins, 334 losses, and 10 pushes. That's good for 59.27%. You're welcome. Yeah, since nobody says thank you, I might as well just say you're welcome, jerk-offs. NFL divisional playoffs kick off at 4:30 Eastern tomorrow, Saturday, at Arrowhead Stadium as the 14-3 Chiefs are an 8.5-point favorite over the 9-8 Jaguars, with a total set at 53. The Jags trailed 27-0 last week to San Diego, with Trevor Lawrence turning the ball over 5 times in a disastrous start, but the Jags showed their mettle on both sides of the ball to come back and steal the win to advance. While all this was taking place, the Chiefs were in their lazy boys with their feet up, relaxing. The Jags won't be able to turn the ball over like that tomorrow and expect a similar result. Kansas City is locked, loaded, and prepared to make another Super Bowl run. The biggest point spread of the weekend kicks off the weekend, and while most have selective memories and remember last week's struggle for the Jags, those are the same people that are running to the ticket window placing their Chiefs bets. An easy Chiefs win is certainly possible, but I just don't see it. Forget the fact that Kansas City has massive problems covering any spread above 5 points. It's just the sheer toughness and resilience of the Jags and the underrated coaching of Doug Peterson that makes me like Jayville even more here. Also, a Jacksonville money line bet isn't completely out of the realm of possibilities here to take a flyer on. A backdoor cover could also be in the cards. Chiefs win a good one, 31-24, but that means it's Jacksonville and the over, that cash. 8:15 Eastern tomorrow night at the Link in Stoniecast. The 14-3 Eagles are a 7.5-point chalk over the 9-7-1 Giants in a total set at 48. Back on December 11th, the Eagles cruised to a 48-22 win at home over the Giants behind Miles Sanders, 144 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns from Jalen Hurts. While the Giants struggled on both sides of the ball, the second matchup was just 2 weeks ago in New Jersey and can't be taken seriously because the Giants played their B team and it was Hurts' first game back after missing a month. The Eagles still won 22-16 for what it's worth. The Eagles are very reliant on Hurts getting the ball downfield to his playmakers, but Hurts is himself a playmaker and can't be taken for granted, though this is his biggest start of his career. He's never had one this big. The Giants are very reliant on Saquon Barkley getting his touches and leading the ground game to help set up Daniel Jones. Though last week the Giants came out throwing on the road in their impressive win in Minneapolis, which threw the Vikings off their game. Jones was brilliant, 300 yards passing and chalking up another 78 on the ground in a career performance. The question is now, can he do it 2 weeks in a row on the road, this time against a division opponent? Philly has been the best team in the NFL all season long. And while they looked mortal in December with Hurts convalescing, can they just pick up where they left off and take advantage of an inferior opponent? Giants head coach Brian Daboll has done an amazing job this year and has to be the front runner for NFL Coach of the Year. I see the Eagles getting the win, but I see Daboll making the proper adjustments at halftime and keeping this one close enough to not only get the cover, but to also scare the living shit out of the Eagles. Philly wins and advances 24-20, so that's the Giants and the under. Sunday starts at 3 Eastern in Orchard Park as the 13-3 Bills are a 5.5-point favorite over the 12-4 Bengals in a 48.5-point total. This is the rematch of the game that was canceled due to the DeMar Hamlin injury 3 weeks ago. But this time it's in front of Bills Mafia instead of the Jungle. Both squads struggled last week but left with wins as the Bills squeezed by Miami and Cincinnati got a game-changing 98-yard scoop and score to take out the Ravens. The defending AFC champion Bengals, yes, remember that. Everybody seems to forget. They won the AFC and represented the AFC in the Super Bowl last year. The Bengals have been busy racking up the best record in the NFL against the number this year. But their big issue in Sunday's game is that both starting tackles are on the shelf along with their best guard. Now, with that in mind, Joe Burrow led Cincy to the Super Bowl last year with a similar predicament. Sunday, though, Bills Mafia will be waiting in one of the most hostile environments in all of sports. Burrow versus Allen is one hell of a matchup, and I've made you a lot of money this year by rolling with the Bengals and cashing lots of tickets. But with their O-line a mess right now, I'm just not sure that they can keep this one close. If they were at full strength, I would roll with Cincy, maybe even outright. But because they're not, I'm going to take the Bills and Josh Allen, who seems to turn into Superman every January, to get a 27-20 win. Allen struggled last week against Miami, and I don't see him struggling 2 straight weeks. I like the Bills and the under. Finally, the nightcap on Sunday takes place in Silicon Valley at 501 Denham Stadium, as the Niners are a 4-point favorite over the Cowboys and a 46-point total. These two iconic franchises renew acquaintances for the 9th time in the playoffs, tied for the most ever. SF won in Dallas during last year's divisional round, and now Dallas looks for revenge on the left coast. After shitting all over themselves 2 weeks ago against Washington in the season's final week, I told you in last week's video that Dak Prescott was too good of a quarterback to have 2 straight shitty weeks, just like I said about Josh Allen just a minute ago. But do you know how many times Dak Prescott has had 2 great weeks in a row this year? 0. That's right. Never. It hasn't happened. It just doesn't happen. He's too inconsistent. Now the Cowboys are up against the best team in the NFL and a defense that is light years ahead of Tampa Bay's defense, who they beat last week. Oh, yeah. And in case you didn't know, the 49ers offense is pretty good, too. After settling for field goals during the first half of last week's win over Seattle, the 49er offense just moved it into overdrive and got going in the second half, led by Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. Yes, Brock Purdy's been fantastic, but his job is simply to not turn the ball over and get it to his playmakers. The 49ers have won 12 straight games, best in the league, and have been hanging 40 on everyone lately. I learned my lesson last week, and it was a painful one when I took Seattle on the points. That's not going to happen again. Both defenses are top-notch, so it's not going to be a 41-40 shootout, but the Niners still take it 30-23. That's SF and the over. So there's all 4 games for the weekend, including totals to keep you busy. But like I said above, the number of NFL games is down to the final 3 after Sunday. So let's move on to college hoops, y'all. College hoops, y'all. Here you go. Rapid fire. Y'all ready? All times Eastern and a shit ton of games tomorrow. Starting noon Eastern, give me Arkansas at home, -8.5 versus Ole Miss. Noon Eastern, I'll take Miami, Florida, +5 at Duke. Noon Eastern, I'll take Red Hot College of Charleston, ranked Red Hot College of Charleston, -8.5 at Northeastern. Noon Eastern, give me Xavier at home, -19.5 versus Georgetown. Yes, lay the lumber at the Cintas Center. The Hoyas are toast. 12:30 Eastern, I like George Washington at home, +6.5 versus Dayton. 1 Eastern, I'll take Kansas at home, -7.5 versus TCU, as Bill Self gets revenge at Allen Fieldhouse, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. At 2 Eastern, I like Red Hot UCLA as a pick at Arizona in a battle of the Pac-12's best. UCLA is doing it. They played like shit last night and turned it around in the second half to close the game on a 17-2 run. 2 Eastern, give me Kansas State at home, -5 versus Texas Tech. 2 Eastern, I'll roll with Kentucky at home, -5 versus A&M. 2 Eastern, I like Iowa State, +1 at Oklahoma State. 2 Eastern, Southern Illinois at Missouri State as the Salukis stay red hot. 2 Eastern, I love Virginia, -3.5 at Wake Forest. 2:30 Eastern, give me LaSalle, +14 at St. Louis. Much as I like the Billikens, that's too many points. At 4 Eastern, I like Belmont, +7 at Bradley. Too many points to give the Bruins. Belmont was one of my locks last week, and they cashed. 4 Eastern, I'm all over Tennessee, -10 at LSU. 4 Eastern, I'm going to roll with Baylor as a pick'em at Oklahoma. 4 Eastern, I'm on Marquette, -1.5 at Seton Hall. 4 Eastern, give me UC Riverside at home as a pick'em versus Hawaii. I was leaning on making that a lock of the week, but I just backed off at the last minute. But I'm still firing on them. 5 Eastern, I like NC State at North Carolina. The heel still ain't right yet. 6 Eastern, I'm all over UNLV -3 at Fresno State. 6 Eastern, I'm on Missouri at home +6 versus Alabama. Could be a possible upset. 6 Eastern, I'm on Texas +1.5 at West Virginia. 7 Eastern, Western Kentucky -2.5 versus Charlotte. 8 Eastern, I'm on BYU +1.5 in my lock of the week. I dig USF. I dig the culture that Todd Golden built there, but BYU's too strong right now. I'll take them getting the point. 8 Eastern, I like Santa Clara +17.5 at St. Mary's as the Broncos just keep covering numbers. 8:30 Eastern, I'm on Mississippi State -2.5 at home versus Florida in the battle of Hail State versus Gator Bait. 9 Eastern, I like Florida Atlantic -6.5 at UTEP as the Owls remain the nation's hottest team. 10 Eastern, give me Air Force +7.5 versus San Diego State. 10 Eastern, I'm on Arizona State at home -3.5 versus USC. And at 11 Eastern, I'm going to roll with Oregon -3.5 at Stanford in the Degenerate Special. You are welcome. Are 29 plays too many for an NCAA Saturday? I say absolutely not. Add that to the 8 NFL plays, and we got 37 more on another wild weekend. Last week, we had both locks of the week and the Degenerate Special. Since I'm in a quotable mood tonight after just watching Godfather 2 and now Tombstone, all I can say is in 2, when Hagen tells Michael it's impossible to get Roth, and Michael responds by saying, "You know, you surprised me, Tom." It's that if history has taught us anything, if anything is certain, it's that you can kill anyone. I could make a comment about Doc Holliday, who just told Wyatt Earp, "Wyatt, I am rolling." It would have been better if Doc just said, "Wyatt, Stoney is rolling." Yep, with the 37 plays out there, 21 wins are what we're shooting for, but with any more than that, we're just adding to our bankrolls and just making them thicker every single freaking week. So now's the time to go big. Hit them early, hit them hard, and just remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. You can't go broke taking a profit. Scared money don't make money. For me, the action is the juice. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you.